Did no one really see any of that intro?
Well, yeah, let us know in the chat if you caught any of that intro because we were going on for a good minute there,
Yeah, that
under
is
the impression that everyone was listening.
yeah, that is weird. I had a camera issue and we fixed it, and now this. So this was the intro. We were gone, family stuff. We're back. Steven welcomed in a newborn that's changed his life, but it has allowed us to still find the time to come together and talk Gundam, and also on the Midnight Hatter YouTube page to talk Midnight Hatter stuff. So yeah, I guess we move on. So good to see everybody. You know, like Jedi Sayla, Rogue, New Type, Lucas Garrett, Ian, Robert, Metal Neo, Goose. I don't want Neon Wave. I don't want to forget anyone. Okay, well, if you guys happen to miss it this past week, I put up a video for the Black Tri-Stars lore. That was kind of fun to get into. In fact, like afterwards, I found a robot spirit Zaku 1 of the Black Tri-Stars, and I was like, man, that looks sick. That's something I'd like
That's pretty sweet.
to get into. Let's see. And then the other video was that, yeah, everything we know about Witch from Mercury, because that's going to be coming out soon. And I'm starting to get a little pumped for that because it's like the first time now that I'm like ending Gundam in a way where I understand a lot of it, like getting something new. It's very interesting to see how they're going to tackle the storytelling, if they're going to make any sort of commentary on the modern day or whatever. Do you have any thoughts about Witch from Mercury?
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
I think that I've made clear that it's not my favorite style of mecha design,
Yeah.
but I'm willing to look past that if the story is solid and it seems to have a very cool like I'm not even sure what the term would be, like a monarchical style of story going on. It feels very medieval in a way. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, good point about the design because with Gundam 00, I wasn't crazy about any of the designs, but I love that show. So that's
Exactly.
what's getting me pumped about this. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
well, cool. Okay. Up next, yeah, there's gonna be a movie night for supporters, August 27th. We're gonna watch the Gundam 00 movie. That was quite crazy. I did a review on that recently because it is a crazy film, and it's not bad, but it's like what? And it's cool, I guess. Do you remember seeing it?
No, I never saw it.
Oh, you never saw it. Okay.
No, no. So I'm looking forward to, first impressions for sure.
Yeah.
How does it rate? Because this is one of those instances where, you had a series and then you have a movie that follows up with it, similar to Gundam Wing and Endless Waltz. So if you were to rank Endless Waltz versus Awakening of the Trailblazer, I think that's the subtitle,
Yeah.
right? Awakening the Trailblazer. How would you rank those two compared to one another?
That's very interesting. This is reminding me of why Gundam is so cool because it's like completely different in context to each show. Like the Gundam 00 movie almost didn't need to happen, but at the same time, it actually tells a plausible story for if you had to continue based on the resolution of what the whole plot of the original series was. It's like, okay, what would happen in a world after that? So it's pretty cool. And Endless Waltz seemed to me more of like, okay, here's like the special edition of Wing. I don't know. It's like the suits, have the extra detail. The plot's a little more manageable. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying for sure.
and speaking of AUs with G Gundam now on back on the YouTube channel. Even though I think it's available to stream anyway, I'm gonna totally be diving into that. So probably some content of that here soon.
Heck yeah.
Um, all right. Okay. So GM variant. There's a lot of GM variants out there. And so in the chat, post what you like. Steven, I'm gonna let you think about your favorite GM variant as I kind of go through some. The Sleeping Dutchman talks about the GM Quell, which that's a great one.
That's
GM
very
Sniper
cool.
from 08 MS team. GM Sniper K9, GM Cardigan. Never heard of that.
That's a Build Fighters GM, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that's got the sub arms with shields attached to it. It's pretty
Oh,
sweet. It's
that
like a
is cool
power GM.
because that reminds me of his next one, the 4 shielded Thunderbolt version.
Yep.
Um, Brian Zenicelli, the RX-78-1 prototype and RX-78-2 Gundam. Is that a GM?
I don't know. I mean, are we going to operate under the assumption that like
GM
not all
means
Gundams are GMs, but all GMs are Gundams, or
yeah.
vice versa, something like that?
No, that's pretty good. That's yeah. I'm tired, which is a great name. I think we can all relate to that. The training GM. That's pretty cool. I like that idea, and that's even a suit available in GBO2,
Yeah.
unless they call it the GM trainer. Probably same thing. Zionic Fenrir, not a fan of GMs. How dare you? Okay, but if I had to pick one, the RGM 79FD, also known as the RGM 79GRS, the armored GM, which they first saw in Zionic Front. Let me look at the 79FD real quick. I don't. Oh, that looks sick just from the. Dang, look at that.
That's pretty
Interesting.
sweet.
Yeah, it's like not that it's a bigger thing itself, but it has more parts that stick out. It's like a bumpy GM.
Yeah, it's kind of
Uh,
like the desert one or like the semi striker. It just kind of has like
Oh
plates on it
yeah,
that kind of bulk it up a little bit.
that's a good way to put it. Okay, so Zionic Front. So that's pretty cool. Zionic Front does have a lot of that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Eric Ray, GM Sniper 2, GM Cannon, GM 2 Semi Striker in the GM Light Armor. Daisuke Niwa, I go with the RGM 88 RFFA GM3 Powered Full Armor. Dang, that's a mouthful. Let me see what that. Oh my gosh, look at this. That's sick.
That is
That
a monster.
is sick. It's given me almost the Moon Gundam vibes with the shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and like I mean the color scheme kind of looks very reminiscent of like the Jesta,
that's right. In
like
the
a Jesta
legs, like a
cannon look to
hazel.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very cool. Curious. Should I say that is a GM? That's what I thought too. Let's see. Brian Zanicelli, I don't know if I did a shout out to you, but good to see you there. Okay, let's go back here. GM Sniper 2 without a doubt. The GM Spartan, which is the inspiration for Master Chief's armor. You know what? That would actually probably be my choice.
I
Which
don't think you and I have talked about that. Are you a big Halo guy?
yeah, I am.
Okay, yeah, I figured.
But I got to admit, after what happened with the latest Halo, it kind of got me out of it. Like, they delayed Infinite for a while, and
Oh yeah,
even though they delayed it, they still came out with the Mega Blocks and the action figures, and I bought them all. And right now in the attic, there's a tub of those World of Halo 4-inch figures. But
nice.
but anyway, back to it. Yeah, so even in Halo Infinite, they had references to Zeta Gundam. They had a color scheme called Sirocco, and then they had one called Karaba.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, looking at it, it has that green look, and I could be wrong, but with UC Gundam, did they kind of revolutionize maybe that look of a suit of armor? Because it looks like a person could be in that, but it's also a giant robot. But with the visor and the way that looks, it's like now you see that a lot in everything.
Yeah, I mean that is a very iconic visor design, and you can't really get too crazy with visor designs unless you're watching like Super Sentai and you've got like star-shaped visors and things like that. But I think that GM style visor that kind of comes down below the nose kind of thing, that is, you see that everywhere in sci-fi now.
Yeah.
Like I think Destiny has like some armors that look like that.
Yeah, anything where someone's wearing like a helmet, and this was created in 1989. That's something to keep in mind. Which, a design like this, like that's the thing. I missed out on a whole era of design when I was younger, knowing that something like this existed.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's got to be my favorite. Before I go on, do you happen to know one that you
Well,
like?
so if I were going to give my troll answer, which I always have to lead with the troll answer, then I would ask, hey, does the GM Camoof count?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I would say yes, because it has a GM head, just has a mono eye.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's virtually a GM. It's just, Zaku parts inside of a GM. So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But well, and I also love the fact that instead of having a proper shield, it just carries a big slab of metal that they paint
Yeah.
to look like a shield. But if we were being completely honest, and my full faith answer would probably be the GM Cold Districts type
Oh
from
yeah, that's a good
0080.
one. 0080. Yeah, that is a good one.
It's got the same look as like a GM command, but I like the color scheme better.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah, there's all those gifs too when we're spamming gifs in Discord. There's one of them, like, I think coming out of the launcher or whatever onto the ground. I think
Yeah,
from the
that's a good one.
beginning of 0080. Yeah.
Now, so you and I have been saying GM, I think in the chat, how many of you guys say Jim and how many of you people say GM? Because that's a big
That
point of contention. That's
yeah.
GIF and GIF territory right there.
That's a debate I've had before on this channel, and it did not go well. No, I'm joking. You know what? I stick with GM because I think I forgot what I was watching. It might have been 0080 or 83 where the characters were just saying GM all the time. And
yeah.
And I was like, well, I like that anime, and they're saying GM. So, yeah. Jim for the win. So,
Jim.
yeah, that's I don't want to say it wrong. It's Josue, I believe. Josue Perez.
Josue, yeah.
Yeah. Josue. Okay, cool. Yeah, Jim for the win, GM. Jim. Brian's in. And Chili with the GM. Goose with the Jim. Lucas Garrett with the Jim. Zionic. Fenrir with the Jim. Oh, bingo. Josue. And then I butchered it the next time. Whatever. No.
You'll get it right next week.
Yeah, I'll get it right next week. It's almost like you're a Gundam character. No, that's wrong. It's just my Americanness that doesn't understand the name. Let's see. Robert, Best of Both Worlds. Steve, isn't that Hannah Montana's song?
Busted. I am a huge Hannah Montana
I don't know anything
fan.
about Hannah Montana. That's hilarious.
Party in the USA is my jam.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's wow. I had no idea. I just put 2 and 2 together. Let's see. A gamer, just a gamer. Oh yeah, this is GM Spartan. Endless Croissant. Okay, I knew I had a subscriber named RX Croissant, but Endless Croissant sounds amazing. I would love to have an Endless Croissant.
Oh yeah.
Gotta go to the Striker Custom. Let's see, Gazetto, Gudamo, probably. That Power GM from 0083. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, that's pretty cool. Japanese name with a Master Chief profile, GM Quell. Basically Space SWAT. Yeah, I like that. Unboxed, GM Spartan, Pale Rider, Lost Morrison Gaming, GM Space Command in the Cold District variant, Santo Bell, Power GM. Man, there's a lot here. Rogue New Type, RGM 79S GM. Yeah, that's a good one. The Spartan. And then the 79N GM Custom. I like that.
Now, you know what I'm surprised. So, has anyone mentioned the Dominance yet?
Oh, let me look that up because
I could have sworn that the GM Dominance was like everyone's favorite GM right now.
Oh. Well, that thing looks sick. And Yu Kojima. From which one was that?
Blue Destiny.
Is that Blue? Okay, Blue Destiny. Yeah, Yu Kojima. Does it say? No, but it does say Bill Divers and Balls World Challenge. So is it not really? No, it says it's the Blue Destiny manga up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see tons of the customs of that Gunpla online. So
wow.
I'm surprised that it didn't even get an honorable mention.
Yeah, you know what? I even did that dive into the Blue Destiny, and I didn't even pay attention to this. But that looks sick.
It kind of looks like a, like if the Pale Rider stopped doing steroids or something like that. It's like all skinny.
But that's true. Yeah, with the head. Yeah, I love the detail on that. Man, that it's like I feel like they've already designed every mobile suit you can with a GM frame, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot on here, guys. Go on here and see what else everyone has on here. I'm going to have to go through here and look up some that I don't really know too much about, but very cool. Anyway, real quick, let me look in the chat. There's always good stuff in the chat. Okay. Neon Wave is saying Pale Rider technically counts as a GM since it's based on the GM Sniper 2, but it's its own unit. And then goes on to
Mm-hmm.
say Blue Destiny 1 technically doesn't count since it's based on the ground Gundam. I see.
True, true.
Um, oh, and then Lucas, of course, knowing it's Blue Destiny. Man, why is my the most longest? Hey, Metal Neo, I love your comments. Okay, hey, the longer the better.
Yeah.
Brian Zanichelli, my favorite GM is the RGM 79 GM. Origin, yeah, Origin looks good. You know what? I love that Slugger Law
I was
custom.
just about to say the Slegger Law from
Yeah,
I'm so disappointed with how little of that we got to see in Doan's Island.
I
Like,
know, and he just gets decapitated immediately. Yeah, that was weird. Um, but there was so much going on in that movie, you know, and
yeah,
it was
it was
just
a
the
lot of
right
fun.
amount of time. Let's see. Isionic Fenrir Armor GM, basically mass-produced Arc 78-6 Mudrock Gundam. Okay, it hovers like a Dom. That is cool. So a GM that hovers, I like that. And then
Yeah,
the GM Nell 75C Butler. And okay, Goose, what is this? I'm gonna have to look it up. It's probably a
yeah. I was
troll.
gonna say, is that a real one or is that are we gonna?
Yeah, it's I guess so now I'm learning that G Gundam has a butler. Okay. I mean that makes a lot of sense if you're going to build a robot, have one be a butler. If the
Yeah,
other's a killing machine, you know.
somebody's got to serve the drinks.
Okay. Yeah, let me go to the next thing here real quick. Um uh Josue Perez, if I am saying that correctly. Hi Adam. What is your opinion on Yazan Gable? And I know that you're a huge Yazan Sweat, Steven. I know you're a fan now. Because we actually talked about this recently. He says in Zeta Gundam, he's one of the best old type pilots we see, really giving Camille a run for his money. Then in Double Zeta, he becomes an utter joke. I think he suffers a fate worse than death in Double Zeta.
Yeah, yeah. I think that that's what a lot of people think. It would be the same as imagine if there was a sequel to 8th MS Team where Norris Packard became like the butt of everyone's jokes. You're like, how are you gonna do that to him?
You know what? That is very interesting because I watched Double Zeta immediately after I watched Zeta, the first time. And I thought that was a pretty crazy jump in the character, but it didn't bother me. I think it was because at first I was like, what is going on with the show? I know at first I was like, but yeah, I think you're right though. I don't think they should have done that.
Yeah, I
now I'm
mean,
thinking about
it kind of gives you whiplash.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just thinking of it reminds me of, oh no, I'm going to Star Wars again. In the sequel trilogy, that Hux character,
Oh yeah,
where he seemed a little more serious in the first one, but then he kind of just became a parody of a Imperial officer, and I was like, what?
yeah. I mean, and then you're supposed to be scared of this guy, and it's like, how are you supposed to be scared of him when he's getting made a joke out of? It's
Yeah, I know. That's yeah. So that is a good point. And Neon Wave is saying Izana and Double Zeta had very limited resources. He only had a small unit and an MS made out of junk at his disposal. So of course he'd become a joke fighting a Gundam with such units. Yeah, and at first it was kind of scary because wasn't he inside the white base and he started firing off and it causing some destruction. And so at first it was scary.
yeah, yeah. He breaks into the Argama, and
Yeah. Oh
there's
yeah, Argama, not white base. Yeah. Thank
well,
you.
and the other terrifying thing is, it's like Camille's incapacitated, so you've only got Judo to put up a fight against him, and it's not even close. Judo's not a mobile suit pilot at that point in the
Right.
series. So
Yeah, no, that was interesting because that's reminded me how Double Zeta does kind of get long at the beginning with setting all that up. Um, but no, that was a good one. I like that. I think that's deep cut understanding Double Zeta and Zeta, recognizing the good villains, and then that would be a valid complaint of Double Zeta for sure. All right, moving on. Let me see something real quick. Okay. So, Jesta Cannon is showing up at GBO2. Obviously, support, right? Yeah, supporting. I don't
gotta
use
be.
support too
Yeah.
much, but um, You know,
Does
that's just
anybody?
a well, that's just a cool design in general. From Unicorn.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you would expect to start seeing more of those Justas to support the Unicorn Gundam now that that's playable in
Yep.
GBO2 as well.
Yeah.
The Justas being designed as like a support unit for the Unicorn.
Yeah. Just like I've learned that GM custom or that GN custom from 0083 was supposed to be support for Gundams going out. So I like that idea
Exactly.
because I never really realized that was the and that's the whole thing with the TriStars. But you know what? Something it doesn't say black TriStars, but it's still TriStars is way too specific for
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely something going on there, and I think that it comes down to that sort of mixed muddle that happens after the 1 Year War, where a lot of Xeon pilots become AUG pilots, and then AUG pilots go on to become Londo Bell pilots. And so what happens is you get this kind of weird cross pollination between your Xeon ace pilots and your Federation ace pilots. And so it's not uncommon to, as a Federation officer, especially Londo Bell, to pay homage to a Xeon strike team because, like even like Roberto and Napoli from Zeta, were Xeon pilots that
yeah.
defected to technically the Federation.
Yeah. You know what? I like that because to me that makes more sense than the headcanon that I was making was just within the development of Anaheim Electronics. They had, Xeonic, engineers or whatever, but it makes more sense that it would be the legacy of the pilots and the pilots would give themselves these monikers or whatever. So I like that. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. The main thing with this is, the Just is cool. I think it was I've had a couple of videos lately where we talked about the Justa, because it was in Unicorn. But it's really cool how this armor looks because it reminds me of the Choban armor that we see on the Alex, but it's only like halfway, like certain elements. And that head, that visor, and then having the shoulder cannons there, it looks sick. That is definitely another kit I would pick up.
I mean, you could just as easily call this like the full armor Justa if you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. By the way, I love shoulder cannons on. I like, to me, when I found out about Origin Gundam and they added where the RX-78-2 had a shoulder cannon, I was like, of course.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. But then it's like I like the dual beam sabers like swords or something. So
true.
How can you do it all?
That's where you got to go double Zeta because then you got the best of both worlds. See, I'm going to keep saying it. Now I'm going to start singing it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well that's cool. There's some other stuff going on in GBO2 because they had like a vote on what's everyone's favorite wait, where do I go for this? Yeah, of everyone's favorite mobile suit to get back. Let's see. Yeah, and it's a whole bunch of, I think, the ones that people like. I think, New Gundam, Sazabi, Moon, Zaku 4, which that's sick. Zaku 4. Enhanced Double Zeta, Yarnlet Custom. I'm glad I got. And the Ribabu got called that. So these people got some good taste.
Good taste indeed.
But I was expecting some random ones that, like, I feel like they made it easy to get the New Gundam and Sazabi. Because
during those promotions for sure.
Yeah, but no, that's cool. I also think this had to do with the PC. I think they were probably planning this with the PC version, and even though I think the last update was just them saying sorry, they're delaying it. So, okay, so here's where we're gonna get to Dragon Ball real quick. So, let's see. The Mobile Suit Gundam franchise is currently outselling Akira Toriyama's beloved shonen Dragon Ball. This information was confirmed via Bandai Namco's 2023 Q1 fiscal report, which covers sales for the IPs as a whole made between April 2022 and June 2022. So it's like just a little sliver of time, but that's very interesting. I wonder what that could have been from. I mean, they maybe have even talked about it in here, and I didn't look at the details, but 10th anniversary of Thunderbolt manga. Yeah, then you had people getting hyped for Cuckoo's Doan's Island, and then that was off of Hathaway that came out the end of, or not the end, middle of last year. So I think a lot of cool, and then yeah, the hype for the games coming out.
Yep.
Then I think there was that. It seemed like a shortage of Gunpla, but I think that just had to do with the shipping, and then probably made people buy what they could. And then you see Bandai coming out with the new distribution system they want to use for outside Japan. So I think that's cool. I don't need Gundam to beat Dragon Ball or anything, but to hear that Gundam can be that popular still is great.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that it always lended itself to being more popular as a whole than Dragon Ball, because ultimately Dragon Ball, the only thing you have is the core stories, the core characters. You know, Dragon Ball Super going on right now. You know, it's the same Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, the same core group. The advantage that Gundam has over Dragon Ball is that you have multiple different universes. You have multiple different stories within each universe. You know, it's just a wide breadth of stories and properties to create products around. So I feel like it was only a matter of time, honestly. But and I'm a big Dragon Ball guy myself.
oh,
You know,
okay. Yeah, I know
yeah,
some others are. I know Ian is in. And when it comes to Dragon Ball, the only thing I remember is when I was in, I forget, I was in either middle school or high school. I think this might have been middle school. And my friends were like, you have to watch, and this might have been on Cartoon Network or Toonami. They're like, there's going to be the Frieza saga. You have to watch it. And so I came in at that. I have no idea when that takes place in the Dragon Ball timeline, but I enjoyed that. It was almost like I had this, I don't know, I forget if it was daily, like this, oh, what's going to happen next? Oh, and nothing really happens, but then it makes you want to be like, oh, what happens next? And it reminded me of, I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I love it. And it reminds me of that because it does the thing where it sets up this conflict, and the two people are like, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then it's the end of the episode, and then they fight for a whole episode. Um and and so that's what's cool, because Dragon Ball just showed up in Fortnite, like the characters to be. So it's funny. It's almost like I'm calling the guy in the orange jumpsuit Dragon Ball. There's Mr. Dragon Ball. No, but I know it's Goku. Do you ever get on Fortnite?
No, I never got into Fortnite. I played a little PUBG, but that's
Okay.
as far as I go into that type of royale shooter.
What's interesting is I'm a huge gamer, and I held off of Fortnite for a long time. Kids got into it. I would play it. Still didn't really, and over some time I realized it's actually really good. And there's some okay, so there was this video game critic. Her name is Abby Russell. She was with Giant Bomb, left Giant Bomb, and was on G4 and as a producer to make segments. And she made a segment about Fortnite and how everyone hates it, yet it's like a really good game. And I was like, I think she has a point. I think a lot of people in video games, they hold video games dearly, like that have been in video games. They look at Fortnite, oh, a bunch of teen boys are playing that, and that's not really gaming. But it really is. It's fun
It's
to
a
just
very
jump.
well designed game, and there's no, it's responsive. The
Yeah.
gameplay is fun. You know,
It
once
is.
you pick it up, it's hard to put it down.
Yeah,
There
especially
is
when you've
definitely
got
that aspect of, like you said, gamers and nerd culturists in general tend to be very, I don't want to say
gatekeeping.
elitist, but there's like
Yeah.
there's a culture of gatekeepiness that
Yeah.
exists, and for better or worse. But I
Yeah.
mean, I'm guilty of that myself. For
Yeah.
instance, I didn't listen to My Chemical Romance for like 10 years because I hated the people who listened to My Chemical Romance.
That's funny. That's funny because as someone that loved punk through high school, yeah, My Chemical Romance, no.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's funny that you say that, because it's like with Fortnite, it's like I wouldn't trash it, but at the same time, it was like, oh, that's for kids or something. But no, and what's cool about it is you can jump in, you could be Boba Fett, Wolverine, Deadpool, and then just like go run around with your friends and chat. Like now, there's people that are John Cena. I guess you could be John Cena. But this brings me to that other point: is when are we gonna see a Gundam RX-78-2 Wing Gundam?
So now, how would you like to see it in Fortnite? Would you like to see it as a skin, or would you like to see actual mechs that you can pilot in Fortnite? Because that would be a whole other gameplay mechanic.
Well, you bring up a good point. So one season they had something called the Sentinel, and it looked like the tall geese, and it looked more like a chicken, and it was gigantic, and it had its own hangar. You couldn't go in it anything, but you can jump around it. And then they released that as a skin as well that you can wear.
Nice.
But the other thing is Fortnite does do that. They have sometimes where you can use airplanes, cars, and so I could see them adding mechs, but how big would they be? And it would be cool to see them in the distance fighting. They've done crazy stuff like that. I would just like the idea of having an RX-78-2 skin. They always come with like a back bling, which I think would be his shield, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or, and then they have their gliders, their pickaxe. That would just be a beam saber. Because, I think like the Star Wars characters, you can use the lightsaber as the pickaxe or whatever. Actually, I'm looking if anyone is talking about Fortnite in the chat, because I wonder if people are like, what are you talking about?
I mean, Lucas Garrett says actual giant mechas in Fortnite would be awesome, especially with G1 Transformers, which I'm inclined to agree.
That would be a good way to kind of get the ball rolling with the giant robots in Fortnite. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. The mechs in Fortnite were more like ED 209s from RoboCop. So, yeah, they might have actually done it already. That's cool. Goose, I take offense to being called a chicken. Sorry. Yeah, the robot looked like a goose. Anyway, so the moral of the story is Bandai should just go ahead and put an RX-78-2 in Fortnite, and they'll get me to play again. Okay, what was this? The Woundwort. That's the next metal robot spirits. I love the metal robot spirits. I got the Hazel, the Zeta. I got the Wing, and I mean anything that's the Advance of Zeta stuff. And it's funny because
you're going to pull the trigger on this one.
Yeah, it's on the 24th. I guess is when they the pre-orders go up.
Awesome.
Or wait, they will review more information. So if it doesn't go for sale, we still have the information. So what's interesting is I've been collecting the Advance of Zeta suits through the high grade. And this was one on Amazon that's not a bad price, but because there's a Robot Spirits version, I'm kind of waiting out. But but the thing is, I feel like there's a benefit to building the Gunpla, or building the unit. I think you get more of an understanding of its mechanics, what you're looking at. Sometimes you might look at something, it's like a busy mess. Like, look at my busy mess. But if you build it, proportions, the little gimmicks, I'll probably still have to, build it anyway. But, and speaking of that stuff, for those of you that like the Robot Spirits, sometimes I notice they'll be gone or sold out. Super expensive on eBay, but I've noticed on Big Bad Toy Store there's a lot of reissues coming on. They're good price in my opinion. Like Azaku is 60, Sharzaku 2 is 60, and I have Sharzaku 2, but I lost one of the side skirts into the endless pit that is the carpet. Although I have wood floors, so how did that happen? So I'm probably gonna have to rebuy it. But like you see these exclusive ones, like $125. It's because they had to buy that from P Bandai to resell.
Yeah.
But if any of you were waiting for the GPO2, it's back, and 104 is not a bad price.
No, not at all. I think that's like probably the same as the high grades at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, I guess Robot Spirits aren't necessarily your thing. Is there a certain Gunpla you've been working on recently?
So I am working on my Advance of Zeta customs, because I'm not big into like the Hazel or the, Hazanthale or any of the Hazel Gundam customs, but I really do like the Hyzak and the Rosette, which is the core module for the Dandelion mobile armor. And so that's the customs that I'm going to be building over on my channel, which I hope that you're going to be a very big part of the guidance for those builds.
Oh yeah, because that's something I would want to do myself, but you have the skill. So I will manage the process and I will let you know when you're doing something incorrectly. No.
Yes,
But
that's what I need.
no, that'll be fun. And when do you plan to stream some of that?
Oh yeah, I think we'll probably end up streaming the whole process. I think I want to kind of break it up into chunks where, maybe one week we stream some planning, one week we stream actually cutting up open the kits and gluing on ply plate and what
Mm.
have you, and all the way through to hitting it with decals and paint and all that good stuff.
Oh, that will be cool. Was your plan to do it where it'd be like one of the streams a month like or how you can do that?
We'll see. What the future holds. There's some other projects that I've got in the works as well that
Nice.
I'll probably post about after the stream, because I think
Oh.
there's some stuff that you and I have been talking about that I think is going to come to fruition a little sooner than
Oh,
anticipated.
well, sweet. Yeah, so
Not to get all cryptic on the chat.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's cool stuff. Yeah, you guys. Yeah, again, I know I say it all the time, but subscribe to Midnight Hatter Discord also where he shares his stuff. But yeah, it's just I talk about Robot Spirit so much, but then I miss Gunpla, and I'm currently building one. I just haven't got back to it yet. It's that the one from Build Fighters or whatever that has it's the gold and white one with like the Kashach. Or no, it's more like the Death Sight shields going on.
Oh yeah.
I forget the
I
name.
don't know the name of that one off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's behind me somewhere. Um, anyway, so I thought this was pretty neat. Not that I want to like get like political or whatever, but they were talking about this anti-war novelist. That's a Tokyo University professor, discussed the conflict, the morals in Gundam around conflict and war. And he said the creators of Mobile Suit Gundam anime were trying to convey the tragedies of war to young people in the form of entertainment. In spite of this, it ultimately opened the forbidden door of depicting war as a cool thing. Even though the generation with vivid memories of air raids had a hand in the show, this kind of misinterpretation still comes about in the end. I think the only thing the creators can do to avoid misinterpretations is to continue speaking vehemently against war. So, a few thoughts. I thought that was pretty interesting because I feel like when I watch Gundam, they are showing how it's bad. And it's like you feel scared for the characters. It's like because you don't want them to die. I almost feel like Gundam was the show to show that, because watching Star Wars, I never felt that risk of something terrible happening to somebody.
No, no, and I mean this is kind of that long-winded version of the "Wow, cool robot" meme. But it's it's kind of a lazy criticism in my opinion, because like you said, it is something that's very clear and on the surface, and ultimately, when you're talking about issues of morality, if you need a book or a TV show to tell you that that hurting and killing other people is bad, then chances are, an anime from the 1980s isn't going to do it for you anyway. I think that most of us operate, generally speaking, from the same understanding that hurting and killing people is the wrong thing to do. And one of the interesting things about Gundam as a franchise is that it paints these really rich pictures of characters who, in most instances, don't want to act on those things. Amuro Ray, throughout the entire series of
Yeah.
0079, does not want to get in the Gundam, does not want to go fight. And there's this nagging and pushing, and it's, the new types almost describe it as being pulled into conflict. And there's kind of a poetic aspect to that, right? I think that Tomino is trying to tell us that yes, war is bad, and yet there's something about human nature that pulls us into conflict that we must do our best to resist.
That's good, man. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, that's what I get from it.
No, I agree. There's something about it, and even like watching some behind the scene interviews of the creation of Gundam, or even reading that recent manga, The Men Who Created Gundam, you can see that's in it. It's when they were creating the show, and they were like, "Wow, this is actually depicting things real," and are you sure people are gonna like this? But his thought was he kind of wanted to depict things as real. Sometimes it's very impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to see the people who are, warmongers in order to, it's kind of like holding up the mirror to say, like,
Yeah.
this is who you are acting like, and this is like the ugly villain.
That's a good point, because then it brings up propaganda. How much media, TV shows, movies are maybe supported by a government in some way to make sure it gets made, but they're making sure a message gets out there. And sometimes we don't care. There's a lot of those, uh, like the sniper movies, or those movies that have come out recently about it. Sometimes it seems like it could be propaganda, but not that it necessarily is. And so I guess my point is, if you're gonna have propaganda, it's good to have the things that are the opposite of that, where it might be showing and depicting more, but you're kind of seeing it for what it is and not. Yeah, because Star Wars is like sweet. Look at all the lightsabers and the space stuff. Like,
yeah, I want to be a space wizard and cut up bad guys.
and to be honest, the first time, and truly the time where I felt scared for Star Wars characters, and I already knew this was going to happen, but I remember one time I was watching Episode 3, and Palpatine was lightning Mace Windu, and then Anakin cut off his hand. I was like, oh my God, Mace Windu, no, I can't believe this is happening to you. Like, it's whereas though it was cool because someone's shooting lightning and using a lightsaber. So
yeah,
it's always interesting stuff. Yeah, and even I'm reading, the manga right now. I forget if I already brought up, like, I'll probably finish this really soon. I rarely read, and I'm glad I am because it's enjoyable. But all the conflict in there is Amuro not wanting to have to do this, and then the refugees that are aboard the white base, they're like, "Aren't you going to drop us off?" They're like, "Well, no, we don't want them to resupply because then they can fight again." And it's like, "But we don't want to be part of this. We just want to go home." And that's like, wow, that's a really good like conflict there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Mad Matt, Zeonic Shadow, good to see you guys. Mad Matt saying, I'd say IBO is just as anti-war as any Gundam, as it also shows the tragedy of Tekadon. I guess I don't know that character yet, and how much Orga's ambition led to the downfall. Also McGillis too. Yeah, I can't wait to get into that. Have you watched IBO?
Tekadon is the group.
Oh, okay. Kind of like
that's
Federation or something.
Name. Yeah.
Okay. And you liked IBO?
I enjoyed the first portion of it. I kind of dropped off towards the end of the series, but yeah, I mean, if you want a closer look at kind of that paramilitary style child soldier, there's child soldiers throughout all of Gundam, but I think IBO gets closest to that, like, African conflict child soldier. What would you call that? Representation?
Right. Okay. Let's see. Looking in chat. Season 1 of IBO was perfect. Okay, I'll have to check that. Did they make a movie of IBO after the series?
No, I don't think so. There's talk about them making a movie. I want to say.
So that's still kind of a recent thing then, I guess, IBO. Even though, I guess it came out like right before I got into doing all this. But cool. You know what? I think that gets us near the end. I'm just trying to think of all the craziness that's going to be happening this month, because the 24th, 3 p.m. Pacific, I think, is when Battle Lines drops on Steam. I don't know what time it's everywhere, but I cannot wait to get into that. I'm gonna be streaming that a whole lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to do videos on it, because when the gaming crosses over into Gundam, that's when it's a lot of fun. And then, what are some other things that are going to be going on? There's the Gundam, the Gunpla build contest I was having. I'm still having. I'm gonna have to talk more about that later. But at the Discord, there is a channel for that, and also we're doing like a community build of something wing related. So if you haven't, and you have something wing related, please post it, because I'll probably talk about that more. Now, at the end of the month, we have some birthdays coming up, and so I know for sure I'm going to be doing a birthday stream of some kind, and I'll probably show off some builds then. So if anyone has any builds that they want to show, There's some recent ones actually posted recently that are pretty sick. So yeah, head over to the Discord
Yeah,
for that.
there's a lot of talented people on the Discord.
Yeah, and yeah, sometimes I'm just scrolling through Twitter to see other things too, and I'm like man, it's like I want to make that. I want to make that. Oh no, I want to make that. And it's like the closest thing was when you showed me that water slide decal from the paper you had, and you made the line. Because when I look at those Advanced of Zeta designs, they kind of have that white line just right, and yeah, it looks like you're gonna
Yeah.
be pulling that off. And
I'm looking forward to doing that. And I think my biggest weakness when it comes to customizing Gunpla is I'll get an idea where I'm like, okay, I want to make Eric Blanc's Purple Zaku 1. So I'm going to buy a Char Zaku 1 from the Gundam The Origin, and that'll be the one that I customize. And then I build the kit, and I'm like, well, but it really looks cool without the paint. So I think I better buy another one to customize and then keep this one as the
now that's funny because yeah, I even bought one that I'm thinking I haven't opened it because I want to do something with it. And I don't know. I might get some ideas from you actually once we on your channel start doing the streaming of the builds. That might give me some ideas.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to pulling you to the dark side of plastic mutilation.
No, I can't wait. I love that. I mean, it just reminds me of when I would get Star Wars action figures, and if there was something not accurate to the movie, I would tweak it. Whether that's some cloth I'd put on it. Yeah, I'd try to find soft goods if I could, or paint. Like I remember I'd put like a matte finish or paint the hair a different color. So it's like with Gundam though, you can go all out because
Oh yeah.
of how the plastic works, and it's not like organic looking stuff. But well, anyway, I think that is it. Anything else, Steven, that we haven't brought up or anything?
No, I think you touched on everything, and like you said, there's a lot of good stuff coming. Nintendo took the money out of my account today for the Battle Alliance pre-order, so
Nice.
I'm ready to go as well.
You know what? That is actually perfect that you got it on the Switch. With the newborn, you can take the Switch anywhere, and yeah, that works out. Well, cool. Well, yeah. Again, thanks everyone that's joined. It's always good to see everyone on here. If you want to listen to this later, I'll have it up on Friday as a podcast to listen to. But yeah, that's it. We will talk to y'all later. Have a good weekend. See y'all.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks.